Hi creators, it's Claire from Springworth, and in this video I'm going to try and turn this into a clutch bag. So this is a canvas that a bunch of friends and I painted. One friend organised all the supplies, painted with acrylic. This is my abstract, and she organised all the supplies and she was going to sew them all for us, but her sewing machine wasn't happy about that. I have the inner liner, which will go on the inside, obviously. And then I have this sheet of some sort of plastic that is going to form the outside. So I'm going to make a sandwich. So I put the plastic down first, then the canvas, and it is just plain on the inside. And then the felt, which is wider than the felt I have, sits just on the inside, like that, and you effectively then fold into a clutch. And I've got the little magnetic clasp that will allow it to go together. So I'm a little bit clueless on exactly how I'm going to make this happen. I have squared everything off already, or I thought I had. Squared everything off. I have an idea of what length I want, so let's give this a go. So I'm thinking the first thing I'm actually going to do is I'm just going to put a bit of glue on just to hold the felt in the spot where I want it. I'm going to create a tiny fold over the edge at the top. As you can see, I kind of have a little bit of a fold happening there. Let me just bring you down. So I'm thinking just a really small fold, just to chuck the felt up under there, and then this would kind of wrap around twice, so it goes underneath both, so that would go underneath, and then down here we kind of just fold that into itself. This forms a top flap, and this then forms the bottom, like kind of like so. It's really difficult when all the pieces are disconnected. The first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to line everything up, and then I might put some tape, masking tape down, just to hold things with the felt in the right spot. Then I'm going to try taking the machine, and I'm just going to run a navy stitch right on the edge just to hold everything securely. And then I have some dark blue, I'm pretty sure it's cotton crochet, and I'm going to try and do a kind of feature stitch a little bit wider, and I would like, if I can, to make that curved somehow. So it's a bit of a mystery project, but something I definitely want to finish. And then the clasp I'll probably just pop on the inside. I do want that to be a little bit taller and the top to be a little bit shorter. Let's see how it goes. I actually think the rounded corner, because I'm going to have this space in, if I round this corner and then around this corner, the echo is not actually going to be the same because they're both going to end on the line. So I'm going to leave it square, which is one less perfection for me to deal with. So at this end, what I'm thinking is I go to here, and then I go up there, because I don't need felt in that part. So just like at this end, I've only really got a very small overlap. Obviously it doesn't line up, so the better thing to do will be for me to kind of not leave a gap. You see that? You can definitely see there that these don't line up. Whereas if I pull this down just marginally, you can't see anywhere near as clearly. So I'm thinking about there. Now, I'm actually just thinking I probably need to put the clasp on first. These are the clasps. Oh, there's two. That's why I'm super confused. They open here. Hey? Here. I'm just going to put one on. I'll put that one on the bottom and this one on top. So, I presume I just pierce through with the spacer at the back and then fold those into each other. Which means I'm going to have to find the exact centre. So I've marked where I want those to be. You may not be able to see it on camera, but there's definitely an indentation. And I've just got a type of X-Acto. I'm just going to try to cut it without having to undo everything, because I've got my perfect placement. One of the other thoughts I've had is whether I put some bias at the edge just to make it look a little bit more finished. And whether it's worth the additional effort, because it would be tricky. I'm just gonna just have a see. This is pre-made bias tape. It does elevate it quite a lot. I'm going to add some bias tape. It's also going to give me more of a finish over that lining. Like, you're not going to see this part. So that will be new plan, step one. So I've finished 3 edges and I absolutely love how that looks. It just looks so neat. And put the clasp back on, and I was just thinking about the next step. Now, originally I thought I would sew up and down, well, up, down, both sides on the machine. If I now try to come through this, that's actually going to be really hard work on the machine with the plastic, the canvas, multiple layers of fabric. And I don't actually need to close the edges now because it's lovely neat bias. So I am considering that I could go straight to the crochet cotton. This is the yarn of choice, and I did get this from the charity shop, so it could be almost anything. It's just such a good colour option, and it's dark so it won't get dirty. So I am thinking that's going to hold its structure quite well just by itself. So I'm going to run the stitches with it folded, which means I'm going to have to punch through each of the, I'm going to punch at intervals with the all, so like that. So I need the top open obviously so I can open the bag, and the bottom closed. I'm going to go at 1/4 of an inch intervals. So I'm going to come 1/4 of an inch out, and then I'm going to put 1/4 of an inch between them. I'm going to use the line and obviously the measure. And before I go any further, I just want to make sure this idea is actually going to work. So I'm going to find some needles and I'm going to thread some up. And I would like to do this more like leather, where you have a single thread going back and forth, rather than a running stitch. I'm not quite sure what that's called, but I know it needs 2 needles. And I also have no idea how much thread to use. It's pretty much 6 times, 8 times the length. And I'm going to thread a needle on both ends. If you know what the name of this stitch arrangement is, please let me know in the comments. And I'm very much a visual learner, if you're just figuring this out. Well, kinetic learner, I guess. I just learn by doing. I can see something on the internet, and then I just figure it out. It's not always perfect, what I figure out, but I figure it out and it works for me. The idea definitely works. And I do think I'll probably just trim the edge.
Wow, this stitch line's uneven. Oh. I'll need to decide if I can live with that. I'll come back when that decision's made and it's finished.
One finished clutch bag then, and I could not deal with the wonky stitches, so I did take them out and create a new line. And you can just see where the previous holes were. You probably can't see it on camera. I just softened them up with a bit of heat so that they weren't kind of three-dimensional. Yes, obviously I absolutely love it. When I finished the stitches at the top, I just kind of tucked the thread back in and trimmed off the end. I've practiced and it's got plenty of room for a phone and lipstick and some money and the clasp. So you don't always have to make things from fabric. You don't always have to put art onto a wall. That's the moral of this story. I hope you've enjoyed this video. I will see you in the next one. If you know what this technique is called, please remind me in the comments. Do you love it as much as I do?